Hello, good evening to you all. May you all please mute our mics.
Yeah, hi, good evening, Shiza.
Okay, my name is Chieza and welcome to our webinar series on data analytics. I'll be your moderator today on this webinar. Kindly let me know if I'm audible. If I am, please just give me a thumbs up or just text audible in the chat box, okay? Okay, thank you so much. So today we'll be discussing about democratization of data. Then we'll also focus on various factors like how to choose the roles and companies to apply for, career opportunities, interview preparation strategy after company shortlistings, then how to increase credibility if you have no professional experience in data analytics. So again, we'll be having Mr. Wasim Durani to take this session. He has more than 14 years of experience in machine learning, data analytics, and soft computing. He has also consulted over 300 research projects from different industries in the UAE. And he has helped over 25,000 professionals around the globe with their career advancements using data analytics. So please help me welcome Mr. Wasim Durani. Thank you so much.
You received a call from some. I had called you.
Over to you, Mr. Wasim.
Yeah, bye.
Mr. Waze, you are welcome.
Okay. Thank you so much, Shiza, for your nice introduction.
Okay,
So,
Mr. Wasim, we can't hear you.
can you guys hear me now? Okay. So am I audible crystal clear now, right?
Mr. Wasim, we can't hear you.
Okay. Thank you for the confirmation. Okay, guys. So very good evening, everyone. So my name is Wasim Durani, and currently I'm here to present one particular idea about how this AI is getting adopted in all the different part of the vertical of the industry. And I will be discussing with what kind of job roles which are available in this particular field and how you can actually elaborate within your current working profile, how you can actually elaborate to discuss or to actually have, we can say, adoption of the artificial intelligence or the data analytics. And what are these technical terms, how you can actually cope up with these things, with these technologies. So I will take you one by one, slowly with these concepts. But before moving further on this data science and data analytics, let me just introduce you about myself within like very short, like 1 minute or 1 minute or so. So I have been dealing with this data science concepts, AI and ML concept from last 14 years as of now. And I have been included like in different research projects, in different industrial projects or different R&D projects of the companies from that period where these data science concept or these data science projects were in the very nascent states, very, you can say, immature stages. So we used to develop the models, and then those models now being used as the commercial products. So when you say any of the idea that comes in the mind of anyone, so that is one of the project. And after that, it actually get established and then become a commercial product. So nowadays, you might never know, you might not know, but you are using in your daily life, you are using the AI concepts. And this is what we need to understand, that these AI concepts are not only for the, you can say, bigger enterprises or only for the software developer companies. These AI is now for everyone. That is why it is democratizing the AI. So how it is happening, I'll just take you through with that. Okay, so I'm just quickly sharing my screen now. Just one second. Okay, yes. Now, when I talk about the democratizing the data with AI, let's, before talking about the AI, let's talk about the data. So what is the data in our understanding? Let's say if I'm a smaller organization, or if I am a medium enterprises, or if I'm, let's say, it's a big enterprises, every organization is actually documenting each and every step or each and every operation that they do. Moreover, like, they are actually documenting the information of their clients as well. And then if they want to actually acquire new territory to sell their product, to sell their services, even then also they actually have all those data. So everywhere when you see around, it's everywhere we have the data along with us. Now, how to use that data to actually improvise on the workplaces, improvise the self-efficiency. Even if you use your mobile phone, so that also acquire your usage data, and every now and then in a week, it tells you that this much percentage you have used the social media platforms, this much percentage you have used, let's say, for example, news platform, and this much percentage you have watched the videos in it. So even your particular activity on your mobile phone is still getting documented. So now when everything is getting documented, so we need some kind of a source which would be able to analyze this kind of information. And that's where we have this. So you don't need a decorative software these days to actually understand and bring some information out of this data. You don't need those things, but you need to have the understanding. And that's what we need to just educate ourselves on that. So we will be in a very better position to understand the way of working of today's world. And then we will be the part of the digital transformation which is happening. And I'm telling you, in another 3 to 4 years, like when we surpass the 2025, you will have very drastic change in the way of working of the organization. So that's what we need to be the part of that flow, right from, like, you can say, if we have not done in 2022, so it's a right time in the 2023, we should be the part of that digital flow, so that we can understand, okay, this is how the AI concept, which is not a complex thing. If I talk about decades back when we were in the colleges, and then we were used to think of, okay, this is the huge term which is known as artificial intelligence. But nowadays, you see, a kid of 6th standard or 7th standard, they know these things, they know these terms, and these terms are easily available online. Like, all the resources, all the information, all the knowledge is available online. We need to just get ourselves educated with some good resource, and we have so many intelligent tools available with us which can make use of these AI complex concept by making us available those as one of the features. So we need to just use those features by understanding our data and using them in that specific data. So I'll take you through with those specific small concepts, which if we understand, then we can, yes, of course, be the part of this kind of a transformation. Let's start with this. So what is the outline? Like, what are the things that we'll be discussing? So it's like, what are the current industry trend? When I talk about the AI, ML, data science, data analytics, so what is the demand right now? Is it like if it requires, like if any particular organization is in a need of having this kind of a data science professionals or the artificial intelligence working professionals or not. So let's see about that first, and then we will be understanding, okay, if this kind of a skill set is required in the market, so what it is actually, because this particular term is now, I would say it's a very hyped term, data science, but what actually it is it very complex, is it very easy, or it's moderate, or am I eligible to actually do this thing or not? So that we will be discussing in what is data science, and then how actually data science is making the impact in the enterprises. If you talk about in the GCC countries and the UAE as of now, you will be seeing that currently the government is actually investing a lot in building their own infrastructure related to the AI and ML. In artificial intelligence, they're investing heavily in all the products, acquiring all the products. So what they require the workforces to actually work on that. So we'll discuss few of the case study wherein how the data science is actually helping the organization to reach from, let's say, X revenue to 10X revenue. So we'll see that. And after that, what it takes to be a good enough data science enabled working professional. So when we understand this thing, then you will be in a good position to take up your call. If I am a 5-year experienced person, or if I am a 10-year experienced person with a good enough graduate degree and a postgraduate degree, so am I at the stage of being stagnant? I'm not having any kind of a growth. So what kind of stuff I should ingrain in myself so that I can become you can say, an asset to the organization, and I can be the part of the evolution of the organization by implementing certain concept or whatever experience that I have. I will implement those experience using this new concept so that it can bring some value to the organization. So it's always about how you're bringing the value to the organization by applying and implementing certain new innovative solutions of those complex problems. And sometimes it happens that you might not know that this could be one of the problems. So that is where a subject matter expert is required. And that is where your expertise, where in whichever department you have spent your crucial years of your life, that kind of a subject matter expertise is required. Okay. And if you can bring that subject matter expertise, for example, if you are from sales and marketing, if you're from accounting, if you're from auditing, if you're from, let's say, HR department, if you're from, let's say, any of the like operational or sales and marketing department. So if you bring that knowledge and just acquire the data science concept, then it's a very good combination. And with the help of this combination only, you can actually bring a very huge difference. And that is the reason why we every now and then we have a good enough any kind of a new service coming up, any kind of a new application coming up, which is making the work easier. That it is because of this reason only. Few of the subject matter expert and few of the like fintech people or few of the technological expert, they are joining hand with each other and then trying to think of a better idea, which can become a huge startup. So it's like that. This is what which is happening. Now, let's move forward then. Now, let's see about the current trends first. So when we talk about the AI adoption, just a second. Yeah, no, that's fine. So when I talk about the AI adoption globally, so I would say currently like more than 60% of the organizations, they are at the verge of trying to use this AI concept within their workplaces. And 40% have already acquired this and they are at the scale level. Now they are scaling it. You know, like nowadays, all the banks right now, they have the virtual assistant. If you order on any of the e-commerce platform, they also have the virtual assistant. So you don't know, but you are actually talking to the bot. Now, what is that bot? This is one of the very nice example of the artificial intelligence. And you can say this is the augmented intelligence, wherein you are talking to a bot which is understanding your language and reverting you in that same language. Okay, so this is known as natural language processing. And again, this natural language processing project building is not that difficult. It's only like, if I talk about the e-commerce platform, you have the virtual assistant. If I talk about the banks, they have the virtual assistant. That means if you talk about any particular service industry which are dealing with the customer support, they can build their own conversational AI. So this is again a small domain which is very huge, because if I talk about industry, so service industry is very, very huge. So each and every company, each and every enterprises require this kind of a service, wherein you can build you can say conversational AI robot or AI bot, which can answer certain questions on the basis of the, you can say, different responses from the user. So that is known as conversational AI. So this is one example, simple example. We have a lot of other examples also, with the help of which you'll see more than 40% are at the scale level, wherein they are just moving towards the complete transformation using the AI concepts. Okay, now when we talk about, that was the adoption, but here 91% of the organization, they are actually willing to become a complete digitally transformed organization. So when I say 91%, that means almost over the globe, almost all the companies are actually acquiring this particular knowledge. So when I say they're acquiring this particular knowledge, that means they require the workforce which have enabled themselves for this thing. So if now, not now, then in coming 4 to 5 years, you will see the demand of this kind of a professionals who have the knowledge of AI concepts, who have the knowledge of data science concept, data analytics concept, who is going to boost. It's not going to deprive, it's going to boost a lot. Okay. But that doesn't mean that you have to be expert. Like after having 5 to 7 years of experience in one particular domain, or 10-year experience in one particular domain, and sometime I have the examples wherein the people have invested their 20 crucial years in, let's say, sales and marketing. Now they are thinking of what to do. So this is what, see, you have given 20 years to one specific domain. You have that knowledge which you don't know. Because see, for the human, it's his or her experience is very important. Now, using his or her experience and then understanding certain new concept and then building some solutions. This is what required by the industry now. So for that, for these concepts, you don't need to be expert, but you need to have a proper understanding. When I say proper understanding, that means I know what is the application of AI can be used in my problem statement, or rather my problem, my domain problem. And if I solve it using this, it could be very bombastic for my specific department. And then our efficiency, or the team efficiency, or you can say whole department efficiency, will get increased by more than 200%. So if the efficiency is getting increased by 200%, that means, of course, there will be a growth in the organization itself. So everything is related. So it's all about understanding of the concept. It's not about doing the coding. It's all about understanding the concepts. Okay, now let me move forward with that. So when I say the companies are going towards the AI adoption, so what are the technologies they are actually getting into? What are the things they are actually adopting? So first, on the first point, you have the data science, right? So that means they are trying to explore more areas of the data science. They are hiring the data science or data analysts to actually work on their company's data. Companies have all the information since like due to COVID, like last 2 years, and before that also, I would say since 2013-14, every organization is moving towards this, right? So they are collecting the data every now and then. More than like 200 big gigabytes of the data is getting collected every 10 to 15 seconds if I talk about the social media platform. So now when you have that huge set of data, it cannot be analyzed manually. For example, any bank, for example, let's say First Abu Dhabi Bank you take, how many loan applications they might be receiving every day? It might be more than thousands, more than 10,000. So when they're receiving this much number of applications for the loan, are they going to process it manually? Of course not. So they have built a kind of machine learning model which have the capacity to detect whether this particular application should be approved or not approved. You just enter your Emirates ID, and after just few seconds of waiting, you will get that eligibility criteria, whether you're falling in that or not. So this is again one of the model or example with the help of which they have just reduced the manual processing just to automate and make that particular process quicker. And similarly, we have a lot of processes which are completely automated, right? So this is one example where they're actually acquiring this data science concept. Then we have artificial intelligence. That is, data science is very huge. In that itself, you have this artificial intelligence concept. When I say intelligence, that doesn't mean you have one hardware or you have a humanoid structure which is doing some task related to human. No, it's not like that. It's the set of programs, set of algorithms which have the capacity to think, capacity to learn something. Okay, nowadays you might have seen very huge application of these in the virtual world. So when you see the mobile applications, any games, so they have certain kind of intelligence within itself that without using the remotes, if you just think over it, it might perform something on that. So artificial intelligence is nowadays getting into in each and every domain. I would say one simple example is like when we open up our mobile phone by putting our finger. So everyone, like almost 70 to 80% of the world population is using this particular mobile phone. And nowadays we have the fingerprint sensor just to unlock the phone. That is one of the very nice example of depicting the accuracy of that specific sensor. You need not to get irritated by putting that finger 4 to 5 times. You just need to provide the gist of your thumb, it will open, it will unlock only by your thumb, right? So that is the accuracy, with the help of which it actually recognizes only your thumb, not anybody else's thumb. That is what artificial intelligence usage, improvising on the accuracies of the classifications. If I'm saying like in my bank, if the company is acquiring and implementing the anti-money laundering system, or let's say fraudulent transaction system, so they are classifying the pattern, understanding the pattern of the customer transactions, and whenever any specific spike is there within that previous year's pattern, it detects that easily. So you need not to have the operators who keep on monitoring every day. We have the automated system up in place. So the third one is the big data. So when I say big data, again, I just told you, when you have a larger set of unstructured data with you, so you need some set of digital infrastructure to handle that data. So the one who have acquired that knowledge, that how the distributed computing works, how those particular data is being distributed in different data centers and then getting clubbed together to perform some operations on it. So when you become that kind of a person, I'm telling you, there is no limit for any kind of a compensation in any part of the world who have enabled themselves just to understand what the big data is and what are its concepts and how it can be beneficial for any big organization. So it's like that. Then we have Internet of Things. And for Internet of Things, you can see the very good example is your Dubai Metro Rail. So it's like Dubai Metro, it's completely, there is no driver in the metro. It's completely getting operated and totally automated. So there are huge set of sensors connected, and all the data of those sensors is getting documented. And with the help of that only, it is getting response from the control room. So this is one of the very, you can say, precise example of your Internet of Things. So wherein the physical device is getting connected to the internet, and then to and fro data is getting moved, and the monitoring as well as controlling is happening way inside the control room, which is very far from that actual place. So that's your Internet of Things. And then the robotics, we all know it. Nowadays, I think we have one of the restaurant also, which is where we have the waiters, which are robots. Okay, so that's the advancement we right now have with us. So we in the industry, we have a lot of mechanical structures which have, you can say, completely wiped off the requirement of the human touch whenever any hazardous place is there, or let's say any kind of a situations where it could be very fatal for the human. So we have the robots or the mechanical structures up in place with good enough intelligence in them. And the last is your virtual reality. Clubbing all these technologies together, this is what we say, this is AI adoption. For the working professional who is completely non-technical and who have good enough experience in any of the domain related to any department in the company, for them, the first two, or rather three, if you have more interest in that, for you guys, these three technologies are very good nowadays. Without having much of a technical expertise, we can get ourselves good enough in these three things. Now, so this is about the technologies. Now, if I talk about the job prospect in these things, this is one of the very, you can say, well-renowned job portal, Glassdoor, and this is the data for it till 2022. So we have this data with us, wherein the data scientist shortage is very high. The demand is very high, and the supply is very less. Whenever you have this kind of a situation, why it arises? Because companies are adopting these technologies, but the professionals are not. They are experienced. So what they're doing, they're actually forcing their present workforce or the employees to get, you can say, get educated on this thing. They are providing them with a profile of data science manager who is actually handling a team of data scientists, or you can say junior data scientists, but he doesn't know anything about the data science. So the outcome which the company require is not up to the mark. So that's why they are looking for those brain who have the knowledge of their domain. For example, logistics and supply chain. So this is one real example I have with me. The person who is well enough not having the knowledge of the logistics, and he was made a data science manager because he was having the complete knowledge about the operation, but he was not actually having the knowledge about how to handle the Power BI, how to handle the Tableau, how to handle the other analytical tool so that their work becomes so easier. So that was burden on him to actually have this particular upskilling so that he can be a good enough, you can say, a useful resource for the company, because they require a data science manager and they have made a 7-year experience with a good enough postgraduate MBA. He made him as a data science manager who was handling the complete team, but not able to produce that result which was expected. And this is happening with the positions. That's why these positions are always open. Why? Because they fill the position, they provide the task to them, and they're not up to the mark to actually acquire that. Why? Because people have the certification with them, people have the degree with them, people have the experience with them. But what they lack of understanding the concept and implementation experience. If you know that, yes, I have some of the knowledge about the AI, ML, and this thing, classification, regression, I know so many things, but if I don't know how to apply on any of the problem statement, which is, you might know it is there, or you have the problem statement from the client in the form of the PDF, but you're not able to put your mind to understand that one of the classification algorithm will do this particular task. So that is what the implementation experience. So until you have this talent shortage in this particular domain will be there, because implementation experience is required. Until unless you have that, you cannot fulfill this particular domain. So the demand is very high. In another coming time, this is going to grow a lot. But what we need to understand is how we should get into this. Okay. Now, again, like a lot of things about the data science. Now, when I say, I just spoke about this, the data is everywhere nowadays. Data is everywhere and all the devices connected to the internet. So whatever you are doing, it's getting documented. So when it's collected and saved on the server, so we need people who can handle that data. So that's why the data is new oil. And that's what we need, the data scientists who can handle that data. So what is the data science? If I just understand in a very simple term, it's the concept, or you can say it's the amalgamation of a lot of technologies which can actually bring the information from the data, and then after the information, bring a nice, insightful visualization. So it's a journey from starting from the raw data to actually convert it into the information proper, and that information is being converted into the insightful dashboard or insightful, what you can say, the complete report structure, wherein we have these days trendy charts available with us. We have the forecasting, we have the prediction, we have the analysis. So that kind of information. And I think you might have experienced in almost all the applications, almost all the websites, even if it's any service company website or a product company website, you will always have some kind of a chart or the real-time graph which is running all the time. What are those? They are actually just trying to show you in terms of the graphical visuals. It's always being said that the graphical visual are more informative than by just speaking or showing the tabular numbers. And that is why earlier, see, this data analysis is not new. A decade before also this data analysis was used to be done, but in the, you can say, softwares like Microsoft Excel. Nowadays also we use this Microsoft Excel for the data analysis, but we have few limitation in that. We have you can say static chart over there. We have a lot of calculations. We have row and column. So when you see the report of the Excel file, it's all everywhere. It's numbers, and then we have a static graph related to that number. So this is the transformation from that Excel file towards that business intelligence tool, wherein only those graph of those numbers, it's not required. We need to have right away comparison between different attributes. We need to have certain analysis with respect to, let's say, any other attribute which is available in my second file, in the other file. So how that connection can be established? If you try to do that connection in the Excel file, it becomes so tedious that you need to learn the programming within or scripting within the Excel. Until unless you learn that Excel scripting, you will not be able to connect multiple files and actually have the complete view which is required. So these BI tools have made those things easier, and that's why this data science is not that difficult. It can be acquired by anyone who is like having a good enough IQ or basic understanding or a little bit of analytical brain. They can acquire this skill set. Okay, so let's see what it is. When I say data science, I just gave you this idea, just a study of the data to extract the meaningful insight from it. Okay, it could be any business problem. Okay, but, and that's why the first point, we need to have a business understanding. I'm learning data science. I have a subject in my college as a data science. Okay, I'm doing a PhD in a data science, but I don't know, I don't understand any business. I don't understand, let's say, if I am from the insurance company and I don't know what kind of data we have in the insurance, right? And what kind of insight we can bring out of that insurance. Are you getting my point? So we need to understand that the business understanding is required. So if I am a sales and marketing guy who is into the loan department, who is selling the credit card, for example, so I need to understand what is my territory, what kind of customer I would be requiring, okay? And then with the help of the attribute of the clients, with the help of the, you can say, people living in that particular area, you can target. So that will be the micro targeting for your ad campaigns, for your marketing stunts, for your any kind of you can say BTL activities that you are going to do, just to increase and grasp the attention of the customer. That's one example. So it's like understanding the business. It's very important. It could be any business. It could be product. It could be service. It could be, let's say, customer support. So if I'm into customer support, if I'm into customer experiences, this thing, then I need to understand my customers, right? Because see, you cannot provide the same service to each customer. Every customer have their own interest level. So we need to understand the interest level of it. We need to understand their age level, their behavioral pattern, so that you will be very, you can say, very efficient while speaking to that customer, while providing the services to those set of customers. So you need to categorize. So when I say categorize, again, it becomes one of the machine learning algorithm. I'm segregating my customer list on the basis of their behaviors. So that is why your business understanding is required. And once you have that, and if you spend 5 to 6 years of, let's say, in one specific domain, of course you have it, right? What we know, our experience or our sixth sense, generally, by looking at the customers, you are able to understand whether this particular person will buy that service or not, right? Or from our experience, we can tell, okay, from this territory, if you market, you will get more customers. So that is nothing, it's your experience. It's the training of your brain within that domain, with the help of which you're able to extract that information. It's like that. Now, so after having that business understanding, then you have the options. So if you have a lot of data about that business, then the mining of that data means loading it in one particular business intelligence tool, and then keeping only those attributes which is required. So understanding the attribute that comes under the cleaning. If you have any unnecessary column, removing that, unnecessary row, remove that. You have missing value, remove that. Then data exploration. Now you are starting exploring about the data. You're just doing the comparison, showing the visual charts, and then trying to see whether this particular chart would be informative or not, that particular chart would be informative or not. That becomes your data exploration. And then you have feature engineering. When I say feature engineering, now here it becomes a more technical, wherein we are trying to apply certain concept on our data set, so that we are going to see, let's say, if I'm having a sales data of any organization of last 5 years, so how it is going to perform in another 2 years. Okay, so that is, I want to do the forecasting. So what kind of attribute I should select so that I'll have a good forecasting, good prediction. So that is what we need to understand, our feature that comes under feature engineering. It has nothing to do with the engineering, but yes, we will be applying some of the models on the data. That's why it is called as the engineering. We are just doing some changes in my data so that it will bring the maximum accuracy out of your prediction model or forecasting model. Then building the predictive model, and then doing the visualization. So just imagine, if you have a normal organizational data with you, you're analyzing it, you're exploring it, you're applying some feature engineering on it, and then after doing those things, you have created a very nice report, which is showing a nice journey of the company in the last 5 years and what it is going to do in the coming 2 years. With certain points that if you let's say sell this product in this particular country, you will have the increment of let's say 10 to 15% in your revenue. If you run this ad campaign in this territory, you might have 10 to 15% increment in your revenue for that specific product. So what is this? Now, this is what these analytical tool can provide you, but we don't know it. So this is one simple example. This same thing can be applied in the HR, human resource also. That is known as HR analytics. This same can be applied in the, you can say, finance industry also. That is, again, you can say fintech. You might have this idea about it as well. So this is like understanding. So business understanding, that is not confined to any domain. It is for all. Even for the doctors also in the healthcare, it is getting used immensely to monitor your patient health. Nowadays, you have the band in your, let's say, in the watch, you have those which actually can calculate your the pressure level, right? It can tell your heart level also. So it's just measuring. It is again getting monitored. So even if your watch, Apple Watch, also knows that what is your current heart rate right now, and that is also getting monitored. So in the healthcare also, this particular data analysis is getting heavily used. So none of the industry is left out, which is not trying, which is not actually doing some new things with this data science concept. And that is why it is for everyone. It is not only for the software companies. It is for everyone. So when we are democratizing this AI, that means now this AI is made available for all, but it's up to you whether we are actually getting it and then moving along with this, or we have left it out and we are moving all along without that particular AI concept. It's totally up to us. But if you don't use it now, I'm telling you, in another 4 to 5 years, you will be completely obsolete in terms of the companies might not require your services anymore. I might be harsh, but of course, this is going to happen. See, they will be requiring the workforce, they will be requiring the people who can work on the latest technologies. You might see the complete new set of softwares, and they will not be at all using any traditional software. You will be seeing the drastic change in the different hardwares and the machinery that we are using every day. Just after in another 3 years, you will see the drastic difference in that because of this. Because right now, all these projects are in the, you can say, immature stages. Companies are trying, experimenting a lot, but when this era of the experimentation will finish up, you will see the drastic change. Okay, so that is why this is the urgent need of the hour to get into this particular domain. Now, where the data science is applied, I just mentioned you this thing. You can just see over here, it's like all the industry, banking and finance, manufacturing, retail and e-commerce. Wherever you have the data, you can apply the data science concept in that. It's not like if I'm getting educated or upskilled in the data science concept, that doesn't mean I'm changing my field. Yeah, even if you are bored from your field, if you feel that there is a stagnation in your field, still you have a chance of doing the innovation within that domain. Or if you want to change, so there is not much difficulty in jumping from sales and marketing to, let's say, retail and commerce and e-commerce and become a data scientist over there. But for that, you need to show your expertise level on those particular concepts. So that's important. Okay, so if you see over here, so data science is everywhere here. Now, let's see few of the case studies how this data science and AI is actually impacting the companies. ABN AMRO is one of the a very big bank in the Netherlands. It's actually almost 100% they have digitally transformed themselves. That's one of the very big example. And along with this, there are a lot of other banks also which are moving towards that. And not only this, if you see the first one, Edmundus, they have increased their revenue by more than 200% by just changing some of the customer experiences on their platform. And that is after analyzing the data. I have another real case study, which I just remember of the DMAC, the real estate in the UAE. They have increased their sales by just analyzing the heat map in the Power BI of the time when their salespeople are actually making the call in the different part of the world. So it's just about how you're utilizing that data. In the CRMs, the calls are getting documented, right? Now, how to use that CRM output in your analytical tool so that you can become, or rather you can actually bring that informative information, which could be, you can say, game changer for that specific part, right? So this is one few of the examples. You can see Standard Chartered Bank, they are building one specific solution, which will be, you can say, a portfolio recommendation. So they have a good enough customer list. They have the premier customers, they have VVIP customers, they have normal consumers, right? So they will be on the basis of the profile of the customer, they will be recommending. So that is known as recommendation engine. Now you might not know that what it is, but we are using it every day. If you go on any of the e-commerce platform, if you click on any of the product, what it will start showing you some of the related products. That is known as the recommendation, but we don't know it. Let's say if I go on any of the social media platform, so it will start suggesting you the friends. If you're interested in this group, then you might be interested in becoming the part of this group as well. So that is known as suggestions. So suggestions, recommendations, categorization, that all comes in this thing. So that same concept, now the bank is trying to actually analyzing their customers' interest, customer behavior, customer transactional pattern, and then start showing them the investment schemes that will be recommended to that. So it will be a personalized experience. The more personalized you become, more better customer acquisition you will have. So it's like that. Okay, so HSBC Bank have a very nice anti-money laundering system. Like I just mentioned you this thing, if you do a transaction which is out of your pattern, you will quickly receive a call from the bank right away within few not more than 1 minute. You will receive a call quickly. So that's what, there is an alarm generated by the machine build model, and then the operator will just quickly call you that there is something which happened. You just make this call, make this transaction, what was for it. So it's like that. So this is fraudulent transaction detection and just scrubbing this anti-money laundering system. So this analytics is getting used every day. This is only few simple use cases which I brought here, but almost every company is trying to get into this. So when they are trying to get into this, so they will be expecting from their present workforce as well as from the future workforce that you should have this added advantage of having this kind of a skill set with you. So this is very important. Okay, now. So I've talked about this, what is data science, and the companies are using this data science. So what it takes to be a data science professional, because there are a lot of questions comes in everybody's mind. What I should do so that I can become a good data science professional. Is it for me or not? See, I have 20 years of experience. Is it for me? Yes or no? So that's what, there are so many questions in everybody's mind. So let's see them here. So do I need to be an expert in, do I need to be a math expert to get into data science? Exactly no. Why? I just mentioned this thing. You're not supposed to derive anything. You're not supposed to, you can say, write any formula for anything. No, we're not going to do that. We have to use this data science as a concept. Okay. And in the analytical tool, we have to use our data and use these data science concept as a features to be applied on my data. When I do this thing, so basic elementary level maths, that is, I think, till 8th to 9th standard maths, understanding is required. There also, you're not supposed to take the test. It's not a college. It's real world wherein you are applying it every day. Okay. But of course, the understanding is required. How it is derived, nobody is going to ask you, but you need to present some information out after applying certain formula, and that formula, you're not driving it, you're just dragging and dropping. So all the things are available to us, okay, right away along with this, but we should know, if I use this feature on my this data, what should happen? If I use this feature in my data, then what is going to happen? What kind of relationship I'll get it? So that kind of a knowledge we need. It's not the derivation knowledge we require, we need to have this knowledge here. Now, so this is one question. So you don't need to be a data maths expert, but of course, you need to have the conceptual knowledge. So once you understand the analytical tool, this conceptual knowledge will automatically be ingrained in you. So it's like that. Now, so do I need to be expert in the programming as well? Again, this is something that if it's a data science, it is related to the IT, and you need to be a good in the coding. And I don't know coding, and it's been like 12 years. I've left my college, and in the college also the coding was not the part of me, right? So this is again a myth over here. You don't need to be a coding expert. In fact, if you don't know coding and if you have never done the coding, still you can get into data analysis. Why? You need to have that understanding, okay? In your working professional career, you have, for sure, definitely, you must have worked on the Microsoft Excel, okay? And you must have created those matrix like rows and the columns, and then you might have done few of the calculation over there. That much understanding is required only. Any back office person or any receptionist also have that skill set. So if you have worked on the Excel file, only that specific knowledge is required, because this analysis, this analytical tools are the extension of those. Whatever we are doing in the numericals, we are just now transforming it. And those concept of the coding and programming, it's completely hidden here. Only, let's say if I want to do the forecasting, if I want to do the prediction, you're not supposed to write the code over there. You have to select the best feature. And that's why amazingly nowadays you can, if you are a completely non-tech person, let's say I'm an HR professional, okay, I've done a BBA and after that I've done an MBA in HR, still you can get into the HR analytics by understanding the data science concept. So when we are talking about this, even I've told you, even the doctors are actually adopting these technologies, right? Just to give more better personalized experience to their clients, right? So this is how you can just wipe out this particular myth that you need to be the programming expert, then only you'll be getting into the data science. No, it's not like that at all. You can get into data science, data analysis, machine learning, AI using this tool. That is, sometimes it is known as no code AI, right? Wherein you're not writing a single line of a code and you are bringing some AI concept and attaching it with your data. And then you can just see the transformation happening within your data itself, and you have more better clarity and the information coming out of it. So it's like that. That is your the second question. Okay, now this the third one is, again, do I need to be IT person for it? Again, so for example, if I'm not a software developer, how I can get into data science? It's not like that. The companies are looking for subject matter expert. Otherwise, like in earlier days when I used to be the part of the team as a programmer, and I used to discuss the subject matter expert about the problem statement, and then we used to write the code for them, and then we present the result to them, and after that they get finalized. So there was always you can say the requirement of one technical person and one subject matter expert, and then only they will be able to work on any automation stuff. Are you getting my point? Nowadays, because of the emergence of these analytical tool by, let's say, the Power BI, Tableau, Google Data Studio, these are some of the tools which have hidden all the complex things of the scripting and the programming and made all the things available to you as a features. So if you are a subject matter expert and if you just upskill yourself in these BI tools, you can remove that IT guy. You don't require him now, right? You can simply use your data and do some innovation within itself. Or if you are a, you can say, a managerial level or a director level or assistant director level, you can guide your team and delegate the work in a better way, because now you have the understanding of it, and you can delegate the work in such a way that I want this kind of a stuff. And I know with these analytical tools, you can bring this information in front of me. And I'm telling you, this analytical tools can actually give you that insight from your data itself, which you might know was available, right? Because in those Excel file tabular data, you might not be able to identify that specific small thing. But minute, you can say, strategical answers of those questions which you never knew that it was there, you can get it from these analytical insights. So that is the advantage. And this, without subject matter expert, this is not possible. That's why you don't need to be an IT person, but you need to at least have some of the understanding of any domain that is required, even if it's a production line in the manufacturing industry. Then also you'll be useful to apply any of the data science concept in the production line so that you can improvise over there. So it's like that. That is again one simple example. Now, so what I should know then? So I've already given you, like, many times I've repeated this thing, the domain knowledge. It could be anything. It could be sales, it could be marketing, it could be, you can say, HR, it could be accounting, it could be retail and e-commerce, it could be logistics and supply chain, it could be any domain. And then when you are having the domain knowledge, then understanding its data, its attributes, like if you have a customer list, if you have the, let's say, sales order list, if you have, let's say, for example, transactional data of the organization, then you need to understand their data first. Until unless you have these two first point understanding, the rest of the other would be no use for you. Okay, now, but if I am a fresher, then what I should do, I should gain that knowledge by understanding and downloading a lot of data sets of the different organizations, and then try to use the analytical tool knowledge. When I say analytical tool knowledge, now here the features, what are the features that we have in the Power BI, what are the features which we have in the Tableau, Google Data Studio, and what feature can bring what kind of information. How, if I want to do the forecasting, what is the process? If I want to connect my data and relate this data with multiple other tables, so what is the process for it? That is known as the knowledge of your analytical tool. And after that, what are the applications of the data science? Means now here you're increasing your horizon. What kind of solutions you can think of? What kind of problem you can solve? For example, if any of the stakeholder is actually discussing something with you, in your mind, the solution is getting built. So this is where you have to use your analytical brain. And that will only come when you implement by yourself, when you implement multiple projects on it. Then only you'll be able to provide some solution right away. If somebody is explaining you his or her problem, you're able to provide the solution right away. And I'm telling you, if you can become a solution provider, you can become a good enough asset to the organization. Everyone requires a solution provider, not problem creator. So it's like that. So for that, you need to have the project experience. That's the next point. Concept project experience. If you have, let's say, if you have experience of working on the sales and marketing data, and you can realize and create a nice dashboard out of it, you can be a good enough asset to the company. If you have a HR data with you and you know how to bring out certain information out of it, you can be a good enough asset to the company. So it's like different project experience you should have, which will reflect that, yes, you can think of the solution in by using different sort of data set also. And then when I say project experience, then you should have a good enough strong portfolio that you can showcase your projects, as well as you can speak up about those projects, how you solved it, right? What kind of challenges you faced while you were working on those projects. When you speak up about those answers of those complex questions related to your projects, that will reflect whether you have done it or you have just copied it of somebody else. Because here we are not understanding and learning a technology in such a way that we are just have to take the exam or we have to just complete the assignment. Not at all. Here, we are going to use this technology in the real business problems every day. So you have to have the complete, you can say, complete knowledge of in and out of that specific project. So that's why it has to be a strong portfolio. So that is what, if you know, it is applied for all the domains. It's not specifically to this, it's applied for all the domains here. Okay, now, when I say applications of data science, so this is what I'll sum up over here. So these are few of the applications. Let's say recommendation system, I've already talked about that. Suggestion system, sentiment analysis. So if you have a list of the customers, you are in customer experience center, so we can analyze the sentiments of the customer. If you are from the product company, what is the sentiment of that product? Whether the product is getting accepted. So let's say if my organization is selling this product in the different part of the globe, so in which part it is getting accepted, in which part it is having a neutral reviews and positive reviews, something like that. That is your sentiment analysis related to anything. Then prediction and forecasting, virtual assistants, classifications, recognitions, anomaly detections. Anomaly detection is one of the fraudulent transaction detection is one of them. Recognition is the face recognition system, fingerprint recognition systems. Classification, again, like the loan application should be approved or disapproved. That is one of the classification example. So these are few of the different applications which can be applied on the different perspective of your industry. So it's like that. Okay. So what is the conclusion out of this is you don't need to be the expert in the maths or expert in the coding, but you need to have that acumen of understanding the business. Then you can easily acquire these data science concepts. These are not very difficult and complex. And the more time you have to invest in using this data science concept in building the solutions. So what can be the starter for it? The starter could be, first, you start building those solutions in which the companies have already worked upon. That means you can read the white papers or the research paper of the organizations where they have posted that this was the problem and this problem was solved using this technology and this is our output. So when you start understanding those things, then you will be in a better position. Once you implement 10 to 15 projects like that, then you will be in a better position to give the solution to them. Okay, so this is known as, like, when you go in your MBA, they teach you the same thing. First, read the case studies, right? Here, not only read it, not only understand it, implement it also. That's the difference here. So you have to implement the case study so that you will get more understanding of it. So the more you implement, the more you do it by yourself, the more learning is there. That's the only difference here. Okay, so here we have to read the case study, implement the case study, and then move to the next one. So the more you do about in this way, the more better understanding you will have it. And then I'm telling you, you can become a new age working professional, which is required. See, we used to work on these AI models like at the time, 2010, 2009. At that time, like nobody knew about this thing like machine learning model, supervised learning model, unsupervised learning model. We used to heard this term that is known as soft computing techniques. In the 5 years, like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, due to the emergence of these tools, this is started getting penetrated in the each and every company, that now this is AI tool, ML tool, wherein the automated stuff can easily be done. And now we are moving towards 2025 and 2030. This is going to be the part of each and every stuff that you do. Okay, so this is why we have to understand, if we are at this place right now and in the coming 5 years, there will be a huge transition. So where are we and where we are heading? So that is very, very important. Okay. So this is it about your data science from my side. And over to you, Shiza, now.
Wow, this was so insightful and very educational. Thank you so much, Mr. Wasim. I have understood a lot. Like, firstly, you have to understand the domain. As long as you're an expert in your field, be it healthcare, be it sales, be it marketing, then you're good to go. Then the second thing is know your data, be it customers, do you get calls, is it the goods that you're selling? So know your data. Then thirdly, you have to now know the analytical tools and also know which tool is going to help you with exactly what you're looking for. So let's say you want to do a forecast. Which data analytical tool are you going to be using? Is it Power BI? Is it Tableau? Right? Then the fourth one that I've learned is application. Now, after you've learned all of these, you now need to apply this into your field. Right? So when you're talking of application, I have understood that you now need to solve problems, come up with problems, how to solve them. And then after that, you're creating your portfolio, how many projects you've worked on and what the problems you're facing and how you've solved them using data analytics. So this was really insightful, and thank you so much, Mr. Wasim. And as we're speaking now, please type in your questions in the chat box. I'll be reading them out to Mr. Wasim so that he can give us more insight. So please go ahead and type in your questions. I'm sure you might be having many questions where you need clarifications so that Mr. Wasim can really take this time to assist us, okay? I can see no one is typing in questions. That probably means people have understood everything. So that's okay. All right. Let's wait for Menelabs. Probably might have a question. Hi, Menelabs. Okay. We have one question from Namir. She's saying, he or she is saying, what are the applications that we need to know to become a data analyst, e.g. Power BI? So he or she is asking, which type of applications do we really need to know for you to become a data analyst?
Yes, it's a nice question here. See, for understanding or rather becoming, or you can say making yourself eligible for data analyst profile, you need to work on at least one of the analytical tools. So there are in the market, there are so many, but what we'll do, we generally take up the market players. So Power BI and Tableau, these are the two market players which are there. So almost 90 to 95% of the, you can say, market share, they are actually having it. So if you get yourself well versed in these two tools, then you have a good enough chance of becoming a good data analyst. So that's one your question. I hope it answers your question.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Wasim. So the next question that we have is from, okay, sorry, just give me a second. Okay, the next question that we have is from MENA Labs Projects. They're asking, to be a data scientist, do you necessarily need to have a certification?
See, there are two things here. The main important part is your acumen. So when you implement or learn the technology, so you have to learn in the implementation way, means you have to build the project. I mentioned you in the last slide that strong portfolio. Even if you don't have the certification, but if you have a strong portfolio to showcase it in front of the employer, that will put a very huge impact. Certification always help you out in getting shortlisted, but your knowledge, your acumen, and your project experience will get you the job for which you have applied for, right? So it is like that. Yes, Neymar, I have got your question here again. When I say Python, so Python is a programming language, right? When I say SQL, so SQL here, it's the language which we are directly talking with our data. So SQL is of course required. So when you are thinking of becoming a data engineer, right, or data analyst, so SQL queries, how to write it, we need to have it. But that kind of a query language, it's so easy, but we need to understand right from, you can say, beginner level to a bit of intermediate level. It's like that.
Amazing. Thank you so much. One more question. Any specific study materials for beginners?
See, a lot of free resources available online. You can just simply write Google on the Google, just simply write data science tutorials. So you'll find so many things. Okay. But those tutorials only will give you the syntax knowledge. And of course, for the syntax knowledge, you never need any expert, because these syntax of these tools are way easier. You don't need anybody. You can just self-learn those syntaxes. But for what purpose you need a mentor, but for what purpose you need a supervisor, you need a supervisor who will tell you, for example, if you are working on any problem statement, so he will put you in a problem statement and then you'll try to solve it using whatever knowledge you carry from your, let's say, free resources. Then when you start solving it, you'll come across a lot of problems, a lot of errors would be there. So the supervisor or the guide will actually help you out in solving those problems. So that is known as debugging. And the more you debug, more knowledge you acquire. So that is very, very important. So in the implementation of the project, you need a guide who will guide you at least for, you can say, initial 5 to 10 projects. Then after that, you are good to go. Now you know the technology, you know the interface of it, and then you know how to get resolve those queries which come across when you implement certain things. Okay, so for this thing, you require a mentor. So it's like that.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Wasim. I hope your questions are being clearly answered. Please keep them coming. If you have more questions, I think I'll spare maybe 3 minutes for those with questions. Let's keep typing in the chat box, guys, and utilize this opportunity, okay? Okay, it seems like no one has questions for now. So that means everyone has been clearly answered. Okay, so we actually have the programs with these data analytical tools that everyone has been talking about. So we have for the short-term training programs. If you want to just learn about a specific data analytical tool, let's say you just want to take Power BI or Table AU, we have those short-term programs specifically for Power BI, specifically for Table AU. So the duration of these is 4 to 6 weeks. So I've listed the tools here. We have Power BI, we have Table AU, we have Google Analytics, Google Data, and then we have Python, Data Analytics with Python. Okay, this is 4 to 6 weeks duration. Then we also have professional certifications for 6 months. So we have a professional certification in data science and a professional certification in business analytics. So if you want to take either one of those, you can feel free to get in touch with us and we'll be able to assist you. So furthermore, if you feel like you still need to know more before you make any decisions regarding the programs and anything, I mean, how this is going to really impact you with your career, especially maybe you're coming from a different field, which you feel like maybe this program might not be suitable for me. We can also have one-on-one sessions, organize one-on-one sessions with Mr. Wasim so that, like he can clearly assist you, clarify everything during that one-on-one session. So just let me know as well. I think most of you guys we have spoke before. You can let me know and we'll be able to help you out, okay? So taking this webinar is Lincoln University of Business and Management. We offer MBA programs as well, alongside with the data analytics programs that I've mentioned. We have master's degree programs, bachelor's degree programs, and we're partnered with international institutions. We have York St. John University, we have University of the West of Scotland, we have Geneva Business School. So this is also something if you want to top up, apart from the data analytical courses, if you want to take your bachelor's or a master's degree, we also offer these programs to you. Okay, I'll just check in the chat box to see if we might be having any more questions from people. If not, then this is it. I don't know if Mr. Wasim, do you have anything else to add on?
No, I think it's done.
All right then. So what you'll do is we're going to be sending this recording as well to everyone so that at least you can familiarize yourself. If you want to go through something as well that you might have missed, further reference, we'll upload it on our YouTube channel and you can go through it. And if you have, again, like I mentioned, follow-up questions, please feel free to get in touch with us and we'll be happy to assist you in any way possible, okay? Thank you so much for this webinar. We'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.